Hey guys, if you want to come chat with me when I'm not making videos, come join my Discord, link down below. What's up guys, ProdiJay here, or you can just call me Jay, and today we're doing the first episode of Setup Tour Showdown, and in this series I'll be reviewing 5 submissions per episode, giving my opinion and feedback on how I think about the setup, and at the same time provide some tips and tricks on how you can better improve your setup, and drop a like if you want this series to become a normal thing. Now for today's setups, they're from Janine, Jonathan, Parker, Varen, and Jamie. Thank you for submissions guys, as I do appreciate it, but without further ado, let's get right into this. Now starting with Janine, she is 13 years old, lives in Northern Ireland. Her hobbies are soccer and playing PS4 with her friends. Her favorite games are Fortnite and FIFA 19, favorite colors are purple and red, and she uses her setup for gaming, productivity, and some video editing. And if you want to check her out more, her socials will be on screen as so like everyone else. But getting to the setup, I gotta say Janine, I really like what you did here. I see you got two 24-inch monitors, which 24 inches is a great size to go for when buying a monitor guys. Also, I like that you added RGB lights to your setup, as that does help to make it stand out a bit more instead of being bland. Now on Janine's desk, she has a Red Dragon keyboard and an E-Blue Cobra mouse on a Corsair mouse pad, and then she has her PS4 with a Friends themed picture frame on top. And Janine didn't send a photo of her PC, but she did say that the only specs she could find for it was a 9th gen Intel Core i3 and that it has 6GB of RAM. Also in her room, she has a fair-sized collection of pop vinyls from different TV shows like Stranger Things, Supergirl, and more. And showing off this collection in her setup definitely made it better because it shows more personality as you get a good idea of her interests. And now for the cable management, below the desk, I think it's okay. I mean that the power strip that you got doesn't really fit in the cable rack, Janine, but maybe you could try hiding the cords on the left side a bit and try looping as much of the power cord into the cable rack as possible so the cord doesn't sag down. And then you took a picture of the back of your monitor, which the only thing I would recommend is to try and bunch all the cords together with a Velcro tie or a zip tie so they all go through one way, as that would make it way more cleaner. But overall, I really like this setup as it does show a fair amount of personality, and because I do love the pop vinyl collection. Next up we got Jonathan. He is 15 years old, lives in North Carolina. His hobbies are playing video games and editing, and he uses his setup for making YouTube videos and gaming in his spare time. Plus, he likes to browse the internet and watch my videos. Thanks man. But before I talk about his setup overall, let me tell you guys the specs of this boy's PC because it's quite a beefy build. So, he has a Ryzen 5 2600 CPU with a NZXT Kraken water cooler, a RTX 2060 graphics card, 16GB of DDR4 RAM clocked at 3200 MHz, has a 500GB SSD, and all of that within an H500i PC case from NZXT. And I forgot to mention, he games on a 1080p 25-inch AOC monitor that has a 1 millisecond response time, a 144Hz refresh rate, and has G-Sync. I mean bro, big ups to you for having a dope PC and a smooth monitor. But back to the setup, at first sight it looks pretty minimal and clean with the IKEA desk, but once you turn the lights off, the whole setup just brings an entirely new vibe to it from the blue and purple lighting. Now getting to the equipment, John has a Logitech G703 mouse and a Ducky 1-2 keyboard on a SteelSeries mousepad, then has a Corsair HS70 wireless gaming headset, plus a Razer Siren microphone. So he definitely has solid equipment when it comes to gaming. And now for the cable management below the desk, I actually like that he uses cable clips to string his cords underneath. But if I had to give a suggestion, I would recommend to use Velcro ties or some sort just so he can bunch the cords together, because it does somewhat look a bit messy, but it's a controlled mess. But other than that, this setup is pretty dope, and I'm pretty sure that there was a fair amount of money spent on this considering the specs of the PC. Moving on, we got Parker. He's 13 years old, lives in New York, and he is a small YouTuber that likes to Fortnite and chill. Ew. His favorite games are Fortnite and Minecraft, big ups for Minecraft, favorite color is blue, and he uses his setup for pretty much anything and everything. But getting to his setup, everything looks pretty fine to be honest, but his desk does seem to show some wear and there is a bend to it. Now Parker, I don't know what your situation is, but if you do get the chance, I would highly recommend buying an IKEA Linmon desk, as it's pretty cheap and it would be a good replacement for your current desk. Now getting to the PC, he got a pre-built PC from Skytech, which he mentioned that he got for his birthday, and for specs he has the GTX 1060, a Ryzen 3 1200, 8GB of DDR4 RAM at 2400 MHz, and 1TB of storage, so pretty good specs right there. Moving on to the equipment, his keyboard and mouse came with the PC, so there wasn't much info on that. He has a 24-inch TV from Element, which he said that because the stand broke, he had to lean the monitor against the wall. He also got a blue snowball after saving up for a couple of months, a PS4 that his older brother handed down to him when he moved out, and I forgot to mention that he has a Dota 2 mousepad that he got from a loot crate. And now for the cable management, I think it's pretty good because everything is out of sight and out of mind, and plus all the cords flow pretty well behind the leg of his table. But overall, Parker, I honestly like your setup a lot because for a 13-year-old, you were able to get this equipment in pretty good ways, like how you got a PC for your birthday and how you got a PS4 handed down to you from your older brother. And if any of you guys watching are pretty young, like around 13 or so, I would highly recommend that you try and be creative when getting equipment because sometimes you don't have to spend a lot of money for something, but instead you could get equipment from a person that doesn't want something like an old pair of headphones, or possibly go to a yard sale and you could possibly get a desk or a chair for way cheaper than you would if you bought it off Amazon. Next up we got Varen. He is 15 years old, lives in Canada, and he is a lyric YouTuber with over 110k subs. His hobbies are basketball and graphic design, and for his favorite game, surprise surprise, it's Fortnite. And obviously he uses his setup for making YouTube videos. But getting into the setup, I kind of found it interesting because it's somewhat of a budget setup, but at the same time it's not, mostly because he doesn't have a PC but instead uses a 13-inch MacBook Air and connects it to his monitor. And for his peripherals, he has a Red Dragon keyboard mouse combo that also came with a mouse pad. And for equipment, he uses a Blue Snowball microphone and a pair of Monster Inspiration headphones, which I've never heard of that brand before, but hopefully they're great quality because I looked up the prices online and they are kind of pricey right now. And also Varen has his 100k letter framed on his wall for his 110k sub channel, which he didn't link me any socials, but I'm interested on what the channel looks like. But back to the setup, I think it's pretty alright, but once I saw the photos of his setup with the lights off, I liked it way more because the red glow off the red theme keyboard and mouse just looked pretty cool in my opinion. And I'm glad that Varen went with a wallpaper of a heart because when looking at it from a slight distance, the RGB lights are set up pretty well that it seems as though the heart is emitting the glow, so props to Varen for that. And now for the cable management, it looks like you didn't try too hard to fix and hide your cables, Varen, but if I could recommend anything, go get an IKEA Signum or some sort of cord rack to put in the back of your desk because then the cords would basically disappear if you put them in the Signum. But overall, I think your setup is pretty alright, but if I could give one more recommendation, which this is just my personal opinion, if you painted your walls a different color like white or something else, I think it would improve the look of it way more, as the green walls with the red RGB does look a kind of bit odd, but again, that's just my personal opinion. And then finally we got Jamie. Jamie is 14 years old, lives in the UK, likes to do music production, gaming, YouTube, browsing the internet, and homework surprisingly. Favorite games are Rocket League, Paladin, CSGO, and Fortnite, which I'm probably gonna have the title of this video include Fortnite possibly because everyone here apparently likes to play it. But getting to the setup, I gotta say this is probably the cleanest looking one of this episode, especially since it's a white theme. I mean, aesthetically, this setup is pretty nice considering Jamie is 14 years old. Now getting to the PC, it has a GTX 1050 Ti, an i5 2500, and 16GB of DDR3 RAM at 1600 MHz. And those are the specs Jamie sent me, and as of the display, it's an old TV from their dad. Now moving on to the equipment, Jamie has a GK61 keyboard, a Logitech MX Master mouse, uses Corsair HS50 headphones, and finally has an Amazon Echo Dot. And for a nice accessory, there's also a fake IKEA plant, which I have talked about multiple times in different videos because adding a fake plant to a setup adds a bit of life, pun intended. And if you didn't know already, Jamie has an IKEA Linmon desk with drawers on one side and basically a trestle for the other. And now for the cable management, Jamie, you've done a great job of managing the cables, and if I'm correct, I think you have some USB ports on the right side of the desk, which if I'm right, that's pretty nifty since you can connect your devices to the ports underneath your desk. And if you look at your desk from a normal viewing angle, I'm pretty sure you can barely see the cables except one spot kinda, but honestly, it looks clean regardless, homie. But overall, I really love this setup, Jamie, especially with that Joker wall art, as it does add some personality to the setup. But yeah guys, that's gonna wrap it up for the first episode of Setup Tour Showdown, and I want to say thanks again to everyone featured in this episode because this video wouldn't be up without you guys. And if you did submit to be featured in this series but didn't see your setup, don't worry, I got you submissions and I'll be sure to try and put you guys in another episode of Setup Tour Showdown. And if you're new to the channel or if you haven't seen my announcement vid of this series, I want you guys to know that this series is pretty much inspired by like Tech Source, Random Frank P, and Swashin, as I love their setup review series, but I wanted to make my own series as well because my content is pretty much about gaming setups. And if you guys want to be featured in an episode of Setup Tour Showdown, just watch my setup requirements vid down below in the description and my pinned comment so you can learn how to submit. And honestly, you don't need the best setup in the world to submit for this series, as I'm looking for all kinds of setups to be submitted. And plus, it's nice to look at everyone's setups because every setup tells a story in a way. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Itself, drop a like and subscribe if you want me to continue on this series. Also, if you guys can, comment down below whose setup was your favorite, and comment down below what you liked and disliked about the setups. For me personally, I think Jamie's was my favorite, mostly because it seemed the cleanest out of everyone's. And if this series actually goes well, I will start giving prizes to the people voted with the best setup in each episode. And guys, feel free to comment any suggestions on how I can better improve this series, because I know my first episode of this is not necessarily going to be perfect, but I definitely want each episode to improve. So definitely drop a like if you want this series to go on. Also, if you guys can, come join my Discord and link down below, as I do love talking to my fans, which after every video I make, I always hang out on my Discord talking to everyone, at the same time respond to a majority of my comments. But anyways guys, thanks for watching, and be sure to have notifications on so you won't miss any of my videos. My name's ProdiJay, and as always, stay classy.